Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Garage Nerds. I'm excited about this episode. This is where the nerd in me comes out, and if you're a nerd, you're gonna love this episode because today we actually get into the planning process of this bill, how I plan the process, how I do things to keep myself on track, and how I budget the program. So if you like planning and you like numbers, you're gonna love this episode. We're gonna spend most of the time on the computer. The actual vote will not actually be a part of this episode, but we're gonna be on the computer for most of this episode, just going through those things. As well as we're gonna try to show you guys a couple of ideas we have for the color scheme of the boat, and hopefully we can pick one out. So without further delay, we're gonna go ahead and get into this episode. So guys, we're on the computer today and we're going to be going over how I actually put a plan together when I'm doing a project like this. So like I said, I usually start with a blank sheet of paper and I'll first start off writing down what my big goal is. And like I said, that big goal for this would be to change the inside color of the boat and to change the outside color of the boat. And I see those as two things that I want to get accomplished. So on my sheet of paper, then I start to write down under each one of those kind of like some mid-level tasks or what I need to do to accomplish those. And that's kind of what we're going to be going over today. And then once I have all of that down on a blank sheet of paper, I transfer it into either an Excel spreadsheet, but lately I've been using Google Sheets just so I can have access to the document on any computer or any tablet that I'm using at that time. So as you see here on the computer screen, we have a blank Google Sheets document. This is what it usually looks like when I start. And it's a blank template, and I'll just go over what it has. So here it has like Roman numerals for each of the tasks I want to do. So like in here, I may put like pre-project planning. Here I will put interior color change. Number 3, I will put exterior color change. And as you see, it goes on down. And then on each one of the main tasks that I'm trying to accomplish, you have a column here for what the actual medium level task is for that to accomplish this main goal that's back here. And then you have this column here for when the task is actually done. I'll usually put an X or a check mark there. The date I actually completed the task, as well as any notes about that task that I want to remember as the project goes on or whatever. And then if I'm on a timeline, I also have a due date for that task, so that I want to make sure I have all the tasks here accomplished by whatever due date I have here. So now we're going to go to the actual project plan I have for the project that we're going to be working on. And as you can see, I've kind of got it all filled out and have already completed some of the tasks here. So here in this first column, I like to give my projects a project name. And I think I said in the last video, I'm calling this the Dynamic Duo Restoration Project. And so that's what the project name is. And then my first major task that I want to do is to prep for the project itself. And there are some things I like to do before I get started on the main task, some preparation stuff I like to do. And as you can see here, one of the very first tasks, I also say I like to kind of keep these things in the order I want to get them done in, just so I can know that I'm following the project, following the order in the way I want to get the project done. When I go out to the garage, I know the next thing I need to get done, and I can focus on that thing before I move on to something else. So project preparation, the first thing I needed to do was to actually take pictures of everything, which I completed it a while ago. And as you see my notes here, so I put an X here saying that this task was done. I completed it May 30th. And I put a complete notes here that this task is completed. And I noted that I had photos taken from previous plans. And I've been planning on doing this restoration project probably from the moment I bought the boat, from the day I bought the boat. And so I had already put a plan together, but the plan has changed over time. And so I've already taken pictures of all this stuff. This is very key though when you're doing a project like this. You want to have some references of how stuff goes back together once you take it. Once you take it all apart, you want a reference of how it does all of this go back together. So that's what the reason for taking pictures of everything. The next thing I did was I removed the rail. Now there was a rail that used to go around the boat. I think I mentioned it in the last video, and I just went ahead and took that off before I started filming. The next thing I did was to take the boat in for a tune-up. And actually, so this is probably one of the most important things I want to do. Next to taking pictures of everything, I wanted to make sure the motor was actually running really, really well. I didn't want to get to where I put all this money into the boat itself and then find out that there was something going on with the motor. Luckily, I knew that the motor was actually already running good. I just wanted to take it in and have a mechanic actually verify that it was running good. And so I took it in, had them check it out, and then the next day after they were finished checking it out, I actually took it out in the water to make sure it was running as good as they said that it was running. So then the next thing that I'll do is I'll try to determine a paint scheme for the boat. Hopefully we'll do that today. And then next I'll go in and start taking the boat apart. I'll start deconstructing the boat. And then after that, we'll go through, fill any holes of anything that I'm not going to put back. So like those rails I took off, they left holes in the boat, so I'm going to try to fill all those holes up. And anything else I'm not going to put back on, try to fill those holes up. And then here I have removed the decals off the boat, my ID decals or whatever. And then lastly, part of my preparation, which I probably could have put this in the paint section, but I'm going to put this in my preparation part, is to sand the entire boat down or whatever. So that's all of my preparation stuff. And then after that, I can move on to the next phase of it. Here is stage 1A that I have there is the boat interior. And then stage 1B is the boat exterior. So I'll go back to when I told you how I put this plan together, and then I'm going to change some stuff around. So when I first put this plan together, I was actually going to focus on the interior of the boat first and then do the exterior second. But in reality, I'm actually going to focus on painting the outside of the boat first, and then I'll focus on changing the color of the interior stuff second. So we're going to go down here to the exterior first, and then we'll hop back up to the interior stuff. So I also have deconstruct the boat on here a second time for just in case. So when I first did this, I didn't have deconstructing the boat as part of the pre-project planning stuff. So when I first was going to do this project, I actually was going to try to do this a little bit at a time and try to keep the boat in a condition where if I wanted to take it out, I could without having to put a whole bunch of stuff back together or do a bunch of stuff. So I was going to do a little bit at a time or whatever, but I decided to actually just take the boat out of commission for a while, go ahead, do the project, and then once this stage 1 is done, I can go back out and enjoy the boat for a little while before I move on to stage 2 or whatever. So we're going to start on, after we got all the pre-project stuff done, we're going to start on the exterior of the boat. If there's anything else to deconstruct, we'll go ahead and do that. And then I'm going to mask off the entire boat. And then we're going to paint the rub rail and polish and paint the rub rail. Then we'll prime the boat. We'll paint the boat. We'll polish all the metal. We're going to paint all the access pieces. Polish the windshield. And then here I got applied vinyl stripe. So I think this is going to change a little bit too. I think instead of doing a vinyl stripe on the boat, I'm actually going to paint I'm going to paint some stripes on there. And I'll show you guys that when I go over the color scheme or whatever. Going to put on new decals, ID decals, and then we're going to reconstruct the boat and put everything back together. We'll go back up here to the boat interior. As part of deconstructing the boat, I'm going to go ahead and take out all of the seats and all the vinyl works there. So once we got all that out, we're going to go ahead and clean the seats. And then I'll show you also in the color scheme thing, we're going to build a new back bench area. And then we're going to go ahead and change the color of the seats. We're going to try to do something on the dash. We'll see how that goes. We're going to install a new steering wheel, which I have already. And then we're going to, there's a wire that for the life of the boat, for as long as I've owned the boat, it just hangs on the floor or whatever. So we're going to try to rerun that wire so that it's not hanging on the boat. and then we're gonna go ahead and polish all the aluminum on the inside of the boat. And that at that point, it'll go back to, so these two are kind of gonna go back together. So after we go down here and we finish applying these decals, and then we'll hop over here and do this stuff, and then we'll go ahead and put everything back together, and then the project should be done at that point. So yeah, so this is what I use to kind of keep me on task here, and to keep me focused on what I got to do, and what I got to do next, and what I got to do coming up in the future or whatever. And then I also do the same thing when I'm doing my budget or whatever. So I do for each one of the stages that I'm doing, I like to have what I need to actually get to accomplish those things or whatever. And so I usually have, so this first stage here is the pre-project planning. So I need bundle glass, what I needed to fill the actual holes, and then I'll have where I'm planning to get it from, how much I actually am budgeting for that thing, how much I actually paid for it, and then if there's any difference, if I overspent or if I saved any money. And then just go down here. So things I needed was bundle glass, sandpaper, some gloves, a cutting board, and some Ziploc bags for the pre-project stuff. I got most of those from Walmart and Nerdz. And here's what I budgeted so far. So I budget for that part of it was $40. I actually ended up spending $45, and I'm $5 over. So let's go down to the exterior of the boat. So here's a can of primer, a pan of paint, some plastic dip, some masking tape, some mineral spirits, some drop cloths, some paint buckets, some vinyls, the vinyl stripe, registration fee for re-registering the boat, some paint rotors, and a can of black paint. And then here's what I have budgeted. So as you can see, I have a total of $116 budgeted. And so until I actually start buying this stuff, which I'll be indicated by X here, and what I actual, so right now I'm in place. I have 116 budgeted. I'm planning to spend 116, and then this will show me once I start buying this stuff how much I've saved or whatever. So the same thing with the interior of the boat. I bought the vinyl dye, budgeted $20, only spent 17, saved $3. Some aluminum polish. I was gonna get it from a Nerdz, spent $5. I already have it, but that I got it because I already have some, so I didn't need to buy it. So that saved me $5 here. Some wire brushes to polish the aluminum with. I already had those as well, so didn't need to. So the other thing I need to get is some seat foam and some vinyl fabric, and that's $30 each for one of those. And so to do the interior of the boat, I'm looking at $90. So far, I've spent 77, and so far I've saved about $13. But we'll see when I get to this foam and I buy the fabric if I save any more money on that. And so that is how I actually put the budget together. I think for this, I probably have the budget already out for all of the stuff for each one of the stages, and I won't go over that for now, but I do have the stuff already set aside for that. So as you see, I have the numbers calculated up here. I have budgeted total for this project about $1,300, which I'm hoping I'm not going to spend that much. And it says actual, so it takes, if I hadn't bought it yet, it says I'm going to spend what I budgeted on that, so I've spent about $1,300 or whatever. But let's go down here in these stages. So in stage one, I have budgeted that I'm going to spend about $250. So that's for painting the inside and changing the color on the outside of the boat. In stage two, which is going to focus on the trailer, I have budgeted about $260. And that's going to be replacing all of the tires on the trailer, replacing the bunks, new light kit, new jack, new winch, new safety chains, and all that stuff. So about $260. And then stage three is where I'm going to, at some point, going to splurge, and we'll see. And that's for upgrading all the electronics or whatever. So stage three may be iffy a little bit. I think I also got in there a new kicker motor in the budget. Let's go down there and see. Stage, yeah, so I got a new kicker motor in there, so that's about $825. So stage three is really not that important to me right now. So overall, I'm going to spend about $500 on the boat to get it looking the way I want it to look, and to get the trailer redone. So to me, if I spend the $500, I think it's going to be worth it in the long run to get the boat looking the way I want it to look. And so, yeah, that's it on the how I put together my budgets and how I put together my project plan for this. And now we're going to go over and let you look at a couple of the color schemes I have for the boat and for the project. So let me zoom this in just a little bit. So this is the first color scheme I have here. As you can see, it is a white boat with black graphics and a red interior. And so this is the first color scheme here. So you see I got these graphics going down the center. Here are the seats that are already in your boat, but they're just changed to a red color. And here's where I was telling you guys earlier, where I'm thinking I'm going to build benches in that back little bench back there. I'm going to put cushions back there to match the seats there. And then this is just a different placement of the graphic or whatever. So we'll go to the next one. So this is a white, black, and red. And then the next one is same graphic design layout, same interior color, but the only difference now is the boat is actually gray. And that's the only difference in this color scheme. The boat is actually gray now. So let's go to the next one. The next one here, it has the boat being a solid gray color with red graphics and a red interior. Same thing over here, just change the color of the graphics here. I mean, different placement of the graphics here. And these little black things out here is actually little stuff that's already on the boat. So these are the cleats I have up front. This is like my rod holder here. And then this is a little thing that you step on when you get on the boat. And this is the horn that's already on there. So that's that color scheme there. And we'll go to the next one. So this is similar to the previous color scheme here. The only difference is the boat is now all white with red graphics and red interior. So let's go to the next one. The next idea is to do a silver or a gray boat with a blue interior and blue graphics. And then we'll go to the next one. The next one is a little ambitious, I think, but it's a gray or silver boat with purple interior and purple graphics. And this is actually the color scheme I was going to do about a year or so ago. So guys, we're going to end the episode right there. I'm still trying to figure out which one of those color schemes I want to go with on this build, but hopefully by the next episode, I'll have it pinned down on which one we're actually going to do. I hope you guys enjoy seeing how I go through my planning process and my budgeting process. And just thank you guys for tuning in. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom. And feel free to check us out on Facebook as well. As we get into the build, we're going to try to post videos each week concerning the progress that we're making on the builds. So until next time, guys, I'll see you. You have a great week.